going on, everybody? It's Joe and Sapphire here with the Bring the Thunder podcast, doing our little, first in a while post-game discussion of a loss. OKC loses 125-111 in Houston. Honestly, just not a good game. We had our guys, some of them played pretty decent, but we just couldn't guard them tonight, which I was pretty surprised about because in our game preview, I actually said that Şengün might have been a bit overrated, but he showed up tonight for sure with nice 31 points, and we couldn't guard Jalen Green either. He's been kind of hot lately. He finished with 34. Amin Thompson did his thing with 16, 8, and 6. Played great defense. So yeah, really, really rough game all around.
Yeah.
Shai goes for 22. Very unlike him. I guess we could start by focusing on some positives. J-Dub and Chet looked pretty solid tonight. They looked pretty solid. J-Dub looked real good, finished with 33, and Chet finished with 20, and our only positive plus-minus.
Yeah. Typically, there's not been many games in which the starting lineup, especially this starting lineup, goes negative. But I felt like we had a couple mistakes, but we'll get to those a little bit later on. I guess start of the game, Shai just wasn't up to the task. It didn't seem like there was full-on interest from the guys in at least the first half, and they clearly thought like they could have brought this back in the second, and that's clearly what they tried to do. But when you're not locked in and the other team is, Rockets I've always mentioned this, they always play us like it's a rivalry. They have something against us when it comes from the fan base and even the players. They just think of us as the other young team, and they always try to dog us. Like, that's just such a typical thing from those guys. And it starts with Ime having them locked in. He clearly had an agenda to not let Shai score. I believe I was watching, and it was like the third quarter, and Shai still hadn't gotten to the free throw line. And if he's not getting to the free throw line, we're having a bunch of turnovers in the first half. And then on top of that, we're not able to contain the boards. All three of those things, there's just no way I can see the Thunder winning games in those three key points. Like, we'll lose that game 10 out of 10 times. Shai bad game, turnovers, and not winning the battle on the boards. We can talk about like other things that like rotations, but mainly it was just down to intensity. Like, we've locked up our seating. We've locked up kind of our stature. We just want to come out of games fully healthy. And I feel like we at least achieved that objective for this game. No one came out hurt. We got to see, Chet really lighted up from the 3-point line. J-Dub had a fantastic game. I just feel like Shai's recently on the offensive end just has been lacking. Like, his lift is lacking. We can chalk it up to him being tired or a million different things, but he's an MVP caliber player, so he can't have off nights. Like, other guys, we can have an expectation of like, okay, like, instead of expecting 30 from J-Dub, like, as long as he's giving us 22, 23, same for Chet, like, we should be fine, right?
Absolutely.
Shai cannot have a game where he drops less than 30 points.
I'm going to get to this comment here before we keep continuing. Hot Fox Casino said, this game lets me know that Shai has to average 45 in the playoffs. I'm not panicking, but when has to turn up to level 5? I disagree with this statement. I think you're taking just this one game and kind of spiraling. I would like to remind you that, 13th loss this season. It's it's the end of the year. We have a week left. We didn't lose this game because Shai had 22 points. We lost this game because we got killed on the boards. Our defensive energy was not there, which it normally is night in and night out. It wasn't there tonight. We lost the turnover battle. And most importantly to me, our bench did nada tonight. Not a single thing. Aaron Wiggins had 8 points, but he was 2 for 6. Cason Wallace, 1 for 7, 2 points. Caruso, 2 points, 0 for 4. Kenrich, 3 points, 1 for 3. You're not going to win games with that bench production, especially on the opposing team's bench. You got Jabari Smith coming in, having 9 points, but he had 17 rebounds. That's an insane amount of rebounds for Jabari Smith. So no, Shai doesn't have to average 45 for this team to win. They need to be excellent defensively, and they need to win or make it respectable on the battle of the boards, and they need to score off of turnovers. That's how OKC plays. Shai does not need 45 in the playoffs to win. It'd be nice for him to score 45, but don't start panicking over this game for sure.
Yeah, I also want to touch on another key aspect of this game. When Shai is not getting to the free throw line, as a team, we only got to the free throw line 15 times total, and I believe Shai only got there for 1 or 2 sets of free throws.
He shot 2 free throws tonight.
Yeah, so when he's not, people don't realize if he's not getting to the line, we'd be so far in the deficit when it comes to free throws as a team that it's actually ridiculous. There'd probably be a league investigation, or should be a league investigation, if he's not having that type of impact. And that's what we saw. So that was the fourth thing that I noticed, where it's there was a culmination of things that we I guess did poorly, but it was still crazy. There's moments where we made the run, got it within 10 in the third and the fourth. So I was still impressed with how all the 4 things that I would think that need to go extremely poorly for us to lose by 20 or 10 or whatever, they happened, but we had chances to literally come back into this game. It was a great point out as well. Our bench unit didn't do much. Theirs honestly didn't do much as well. It was just their starters that were really locked in. Şengün was killing us. Now, since we've kind of talked a little bit more about it, I want to talk about the staggering of the bigs. If we're going to start them, then just start them, especially against teams like this. If we're facing against a Steven Adams, Rudy Gobert, Zubac, those guys that are not small ball bigs, then Hartenstein and Chet need to be on the floor. It can't be a staggered lineup against those guys, because whoever their 4 guy is, whether it's Naz Reid or in this case Şengün, they're going to kill us. And that's exactly what happened this game. They're just going to absolutely obliterate us from a board perspective and just getting points. And it's going to tire out the defense. That's another thing that people don't realize is when we're going against double bigs and they're consistently going into the paint and being really successful as a defender, as a 2, bigs on the other side of that, they're going to start getting tired as the game goes on. And that's another battle in itself, or another strategic battle that we're facing. So there was a lot of things that were kind of uphill battle, and I feel like they should learn from this game, watch a lot of the film from this game. It's a good moment, but from Shai's perspective, it's just come locked and ready for big moments like this. The Rockets clearly knew what they were doing, what they wanted to do, and we just need to see a lot more. I feel like this game really comes down to him. He's our main player. That's who usually gets the brunt of the blame. If you know anything about NBA basketball, we can talk about the bench, we can talk about the lack of free throws, the turnovers, whatever. But if he doesn't show up, then we really don't have a chance. And he's fully healthy. There's no excuse not to be at least dropping his regular 32, his average. That should be his bare minimum when you're that caliber of a player.
Yeah, him not having it going from the 3-point line tonight didn't help. 1 for 6. Like you said, getting to the line was a problem tonight. Only 2 free throws, and he wasn't great from the field in total. So a little off night for him. Again, I'm not going to stress. I think they kind of were in this groove where they were blowing teams out, or they would go on these extremely fast and huge runs that they kind of got stuck in their ways. And they tried to do it again tonight. They tried to go on a quick burst to cut the lead down. I think they got it down to 9 at one point, maybe 8. But it wasn't going to happen tonight. You can't play games like that. And I think they just got, too comfortable. That being said, I don't expect to see this version of this team in the playoffs. I wouldn't stress out over that at all. from this game alone, I'm just going to take the positives. I'm going to take Chet's 6 out of 3-pointers tonight. Excellent shooting from him. I'm going to take Hartenstein going 8 for 9 from the field with 16 and 7 and 4 assists. Just key guys didn't step up. Aaron Wiggins didn't shoot well. Dort had 2 points tonight.
Yeah, usually he's a big game guy. Even I thought he was going to step it up in the second half. Like when I noticed he only had 2 points, I was like, all right, at some point he's going to get engaged into this game and, drum up some points. But I mean, 0 for 4, that's like the worst. There was a lot of worst case scenarios when it came to this game of culmination of things. And Lou Dort was another piece to this puzzle as to why we lost.
Yeah, I'm not going to put this comment up. I'll just read it out loud. Opinions on Chet Holmgren in this game. I feel like he looked a lot more confident and aggressive. Yeah, like I was just saying, this guy has definitely made a second-year leap. He's going to have games where he doesn't score that many points because there's games where we don't need him to score that many points. There's games that the game plan just isn't through Chet. And there will be games that he does score a lot of points, like the game against Boston. We had to run through Chet. He looked real aggressive tonight. When he gets the ball, he's not second-guessing his shot. He's driving to the rim. And he's, we all know he's an excellent defender. So I have no worries about Chet. I have no worries about Shai. J-Dub looked great. Hartenstein looked great. They just have to.
Hartenstein was fantastic for us this game.
They
Defensive,
just have to,
offensive. He's like, what you're going to get out of him. And he sets a pretty good bar.
He might be our most what am I looking for here? Consistent guy. But where was I getting? They just have to pick up their intensity again. That's really all they have to do. It wasn't there tonight. 125 points is too much. And I expect a complete turnaround when we go and face the Lakers. And they're coming off a big loss as well.
Yeah, I totally expect a turnaround. I'm going to rattle off a couple stats. Or just a couple things here. Thunderfall 64-13 on the season. We snapped that 11-game win streak. The season series, we actually won against the Rockets 3-2. We obviously fought back a 23 deficit, cut it to 8. Obviously, we had the next up Lakers doubleheader Sunday and Tuesday. This was a career high for Chet in 3-pointers made with the 6. And then Shai also scored his 70th 20-plus point per game. That actually surpasses Michael Jordan in the modern era. So congrats to him. Obviously not in the type of game or in a loss that we would want to see a stat like that, but it's still impressive that he's got 70 straight 20-plus games. And I think the next closest guy is it's like a 50 differential between him and the next closest guy. So
yeah. I'm also seeing a lot of comments about this game worrying people and all that. Just don't let it. Don't let it. We've seen this team beat the top of the top. We've swept Boston. We've handled Denver relatively. We beat the Lakers without Luka. We'll play them soon in a couple days and see what goes down. But we beat all the top teams. We put a beating on Cleveland. It was just their intensity, guys. There's a week left in the season. It's winding down. They will pick it up for the playoffs. I promise you. We got another comment. The Rockets might beat us in the second round. Not going to lie. Very scary team. Come on, guys. Let's pull it together.
We're not going to be playing the Rockets in the second round. That's not how the seeding's looking, especially after this win. They pretty much locked up this 2 seed here, unless they have some sort of super disaster class. But I'm pretty sure they're locked into their seeding. So, yeah.
And
we'll
this
see
is
them.
another game. Just the Rockets played outstanding tonight. I could tell these comments who are worried about the Rockets. Jalen Green's going to have games where he has 30, and then he's going to have games where he literally is in single digits. If you go look at his last 10, he's in single digits 4 times. He's a very inconsistent shooter. He's a very inconsistent player. We just ran into a very hot Jalen Green tonight. And Şengün, honestly, he's pretty solid too, but he's Mr. Inconsistent himself. So we saw the best version of the Rockets tonight, and we saw probably one of the worst versions of OKC we've seen all season. So please relax. Please relax. We are still the number 1 seed in the West. We are still the number 1 seed in the NBA. and we will stay the number 1 seed, and we will revamp while we head into the playoffs. These last few games, I promise you, Coach Mark is not putting much stress into them. As much as you want us to go in and beat Houston by 30 on their home court, we're not gonna do that right now. We're gonna ride these last few games out, and then we're gonna revamp and see who we face in the first round.
Yeah. Also, this is a game where if this was in the playoffs type of scenario, like he'd put Shai back in a lot more minutes. There's a lot of things in terms of rotation wise that Mark would have taken a lot more seriously or made in-game adjustments. Whereas if you watch throughout the game, he pretty much stuck to his normal rotation for this type of lineup, and he didn't really have any variance for it. Also, This was a return game for Aaron Wiggins as well.
Right. And Isaiah Joe wasn't in. There's a lot of factors into tonight's game. Again, I'd love to put your comments on, but I'm just going to read them out. This one says, I think we should start the Wallace guy over Lou Dort. Okay, Casey Wallace is his name. Wallace is the better player and has more potential. Lou Dort is the best on-ball defender in the NBA. He will lock down every number 1 in the league for us, and he has for the last couple years. We have to start Lou Dort. He's one of our better players. Wallace is great, but Lou is definitely much better as of right now. We can put this one up. Sapper, you can go ahead and answer that one.
Yeah. With AJ, he's still ramping up. He's game to game. He should be here shortly. I think his reevaluation was 2 days ago. We already kind of saw him ramping in practice. It should be any time now that we get him back. Maybe for the second leg of this Lakers game that we have coming up. Yeah, no problems there. Like, we don't know if there's any, I guess, updates in terms of delays or anything like that. But for now, like, he should be coming back here pretty soon. So no worries at all. We'll see some AJ minutes. I know everyone's all in the group chats everywhere, IG, Twitter, everyone's asking about AJ. So we're definitely looking forward to having him back.
Yeah. I guess now after, there's not much more to talk about with this game. Off shooting night, intensity wasn't there. We lost the game. Simple. We can look forward we can look forward to these next few games coming up. We got the Lakers back to back here. Sunday and then Tuesday. It bothers me so much that Sunday is not an ABC game. It's at 3:30 on Sunday. March Madness is tomorrow and Monday. There's nothing going on. I don't know why we're not an ABC game. We are an NBA TV game. But, I'd like to take one of these games. I wouldn't mind losing one either. I don't expect us to be playing our hearts out in these games at all. I really don't. There are
the game plan for this from a Lakers perspective, seeding wise, they need, from a schedule and seeding wise, they need to get the first game. Otherwise, they're going to have to go all out in the second game and then go head to Dallas, which is going to be a really emotional game back for Luka, and anything can happen with AD super ramped up. So it's like that first Lakers game, we're going to probably see the best punch the Lakers have for the season because their seeding really relies on this. It could be the difference between them getting into the play-in situation, 8 seed. There's a lot of detriment that can come from them losing a back-to-back or having to, play LeBron 40-plus minutes and then head into Dallas as well. So that first game is the one that I'm going to be looking at, and I know probably Mark's understanding of that scenario. So we're going to be seeing probably some good minutes from our starting lineup to try to lock that win down. Also, I wanted to mention something else that came to my mind about this loss. This is one of our, I would consider, legit losses without, we actually had both of our centers for this. The other couple losses that we've had throughout the season, except for maybe the early ones where we were missing a Chet or a Hartenstein or both in some cases. So this was a unique game where even with a healthy lineup, we lost, and we saw, I guess, obviously the worst version of ourselves and the best version of the other team. I think that's the best way to summarize it. We got the best punch out of these Rockets, but I feel like we get that from them every single time.
Every game.
Yeah, especially if you're not locked in. I just think that comes down to coaching. Like Ime has these guys playing super hard. Even if you look at a Nets team, like they may lose a lot of games, but every game they play hard. So those types of teams are really
the Nets
dangerous.
are actually really fun to watch. I've watched a lot of their games this season. They're super I'm not going to go on a tangent about the Nets, don't worry, but they're super fun to watch. They play hard every night, similar to Houston.
Exactly. And then there's obviously other teams where it's like we know they may take a night off depending on if you're playing them. So this is one of those teams, especially going into their house, like you can't play like this. So
right.
No.
I was gonna go quickly over this comment. I'm not gonna get too in depth. I think we split the series or this back-to-back against the Lakers. Well, I hope we do. I think the first game, if we could take that one, that would prove our point. I don't want to take the second game because if we were to lose the first game, I guarantee you the Lakers will sit Luka or sit LeBron in the second game. And I expect us to be sitting guys as well. So if we're both healthy and ready to roll on Sunday, I'd like to take this one. We just got to have a good shooting game. Have a good shooting game and play good defense, and we should be able to handle them on Sunday. I want to pop this comment up as well because I really appreciate this one. Thunder up to you, and we're here every day, every game, every post game. We're live, and we have episodes that are released every Friday at 3 p.m. Central. So, welcome to the family, by the way.
Thank you for the comment.
Yeah,
we got another comment here. If we split, the media will not take us serious. I think that'll be the narrative. Maybe not so much if we split, but definitely that first game. I think that's the one we'll really be looking at. I doubt that they rest any of their guys for that first one, or if they lose that first one, they'll probably not rest any of the guys for the second one. And we can still take a second game, even if we're resting guys like Shai, J-Dub, or Chet. I can see one of the starters being rested for that second leg of the back-to-back. Most likely, if I had to guess, it'll probably be Shai. I was thinking Shai. Shai hasn't gotten rest in a while. They've been alternating J-Dub and Chet for a while now.
They'll be resting somebody. They'll be resting at least one starter in that second game for sure. Remember we beat Denver. Okay, yeah, I mean, we could pop this one up as well. Remember when we beat Denver, then lost to Denver, and the media questioned if we could win a 7-game series. Hotspot Casino, I appreciate all of these comments. Awesome. But I want to answer these as truthfully as I can. You got to stop focusing on all this media. It's just going to rot your brain. It's going to make you pissed off every single night. If we won tonight by 20, they'd still find a way to crap all over us. Stay away from the tweets. Half of them are either 14-year-old Twitter accounts, and then the other half is ESPN, who knows nothing. So do yourself a favor and stop reading so much.
If we were to win this, by the way, ESPN would have a LeBron MJ debate the next day, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But other than that, we have the Lakers on Sunday the 6th and then Tuesday the 8th. And then we got Phoenix, Jazz, and Pelicans. So look for a lot of the starters to be resting. And then, boys, we're ready. We're ready. We got to watch these play-in games, see who we're going to be playing. And OKC will get their matchup shortly.
Yeah.
Sabri, if you got anything else, go for it. I don't.
No, man. I'm expecting a big game by Shai in this Lakers matchup. He always plays the Lakers really, really tough. J-Dub's really picked up his offensive game. I've been mentioning that. It feels like every time we go for these post-game lives. So that's really cool to see heading into the playoffs. Like, he's the guy that we need hitting on all cylinders. We know what we're going to get from a guy like Chet. Like, his baseline from a skill and talent perspective, like, he's just not a guy that, like, with the type of frame he has, he's going to have poor games. Like, he may have one in a series or something, but even that, like, he's still bringing the defensive impact. Hartenstein, we know what we're getting from him. The couple X factors that we have are mainly the bench guys like Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, Alex Cruz. So we need some of them just to hit a couple shots, and we should be perfectly fine. And that's probably what I'm expecting for this Lakers game. It'll be probably a wire-to-wire game, similar to if any of you guys caught the Lakers Golden State last night. I mean, that was elite level defense, wire to wire between both teams. And that's probably the type of playoff intensity that we'll be seeing for a midday game. And I'm super excited for it.
Definitely got to lock in. I'll bring up one last comment just because I liked it. Hotspot Casino said, I remember I said this, our team is a 2005 Chicago White Sox. Satvir, I don't know if you know, the White Sox in 2005 finished first in their division and then pretty much almost swept through the entire playoffs. So I do like that comment. But don't expect a full sweep through the entire playoffs. But I guess we could go ahead and wrap up there. Again, OKC loses 125-111 in Houston tonight. Expect a bounce back on Sunday against the Lakers. Sorry. And we will see you guys then. If you guys are really enjoying our content, please leave us or subscribe to the YouTube again, and then follow on all social media platforms. We're on all of them. Instagram. I'm not even going to list them. Any social media you have, we're on. Give us a follow. And Zafir, why don't you go ahead and leave us off here?
Thunder up, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.